Oh, there we go.
The Google subscriber.
All right, let's try that.
From
Ethan motherfucking Ralph.
to accept, press 1.
Hey,
Brother.
what's up, Ralph? How you doing, man?
First off, let me ask you something.
All right.
What are your thoughts on Rochester, New York?
It's a dump. It's a fucking dump. It really is.
You know what? They
nice
reach
place.
out Buffalo, and I shit on Buffalo all the time, but actually, Rochester's a bigger dump than Buffalo by far.
Oh, 100%. I've been
like,
to both. Yeah, no, right.
Yeah, if you've been to both, you already know that Rochester is a way bigger dump. It's like Memphis if they were reliant on Kodak to even keep the whole fucking town running.
Yeah, if Young Dolph was the mayor.
Yeah, and a bunch of old they send the shitty wops up there to run Rochester, right? And so like the second and third tier wops run Rochester. So
Rochester's just Buffalo, except without a football team and more blacks.
That's exactly correct. That's exactly correct. They got a couple good restaurants. That's only because of the WAPs, and it's just complete trash, the whole fucking place. Am
I getting the impression? Are you beefing with Carl from one of these podcasts right now?
No, this isn't even about Carl. This is about Harry Morris, who I'm fully allowed to speak on. I don't know what he saw I was coming on the show tonight. And of course, there's some things I can't talk about. You already know. Yeah. But he's one of the things I can talk about. And I don't know. I guess he's drinking Basil Hayden or whatever. That's good for him. I'd rather him drink arsenic, to be honest with you. But, that's okay. I hope he enjoys. But I know I've been in this guy's house and I've seen him just like, do you know anybody with sleep apnea? Have you ever seen that?
I mean, I've never witnessed it happening, but I've heard.
Well,
I know people that have it. Yeah.
Well, I have, and I've witnessed him have it and just like pass out. It's like involuntarily, like just falling asleep at the drop of a hat because you don't get enough oxygen to your brain when you sleep. And when you're a fat fucking loser like him, I'm 178 pounds. I still got the gun. I still got a little loose skin. This is a guy who's an absolute fucking clown. He weighs at least 380. His son might have him beat because he's a huge fucking fat ass himself. But I've literally sat there and seen him put away 4,000. And look, I was 280 pounds at the time, 178 now. But like, even me at like fat ass status was like just amazed at how many calories this guy's putting down, and then he falls asleep involuntarily while he's got his big screen TV and the extra wide lazy boy on. I don't really know why he decided to take an interest. I hope he can stay awake during this segment, but I wouldn't count on it, to be honest with you.
Ralph, what happened to positive Ralph? We're moving forward.
Well, you know what? He started Mersh. Like, what I mean? Like,
people
okay.
are always going to be starting shit.
Okay, but look, you know what? I get that same thing. It's like, oh, Ralph said he wasn't going to go into obese and this and that. Well, Ralph is still Ralph. And so,
Ralph's the guy who gets out of fight in the parking lot right after he gets out of jail. Like,
yeah, well, you saw my
scene.
I saw you liked it. My goal in life is to stay out of jail, but just barely. Yeah, that's my goal in life. And, he... believe me, I could say a lot more. This is me playing softball, to be honest. Some people know when to just back off, take the W, whatever. But accounts will be settled up there eventually. And, you can't change biology and genetics and all that. And you can't change the rights that I'm not speaking about myself, by the way, but very hard to take away parental rights, et cetera, and all that. But regardless, I see super interesting.
Now, yeah, that tile work is atrocious.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, Harry, honestly, do me a favor, Harry Morris, because I can talk about you all I want. Clean your fucking baseboards, man.
Yeah. Oh,
Run
you
a
can talk
Swiffer
about
over that
any
shit.
of the morsels. There's a, I have
All
a
you gotta
certain
do is
restriction,
grab a
but
paper towel like I do, dip it in some Fabuloso mixed with water, and rub
they
it
even
along your
have
baseboards.
Fabuloso here in Mexico, by the way. Yeah.
Fabuloso, man. The tropical smell is that shit.
Yeah. They have it here. I don't know why. I don't know. He just trying to poke me, and I said in my tweet, I'm 178. It would take what I say 10, 20 years for him to get down to 178. And that's with him in the ground decomposing. That's how fat this motherfucker is. He can barely even fucking walk around the earth. I talk shit about PPP, but like PPP is like Usain Bolt compared to Harry Morris. And so people are like, oh, Ralph's delving back into the old beast. Well, look, I don't want to go there, but if somebody tugs on Rafa Man's cape, it is what it is, right, Mersh? That's how it's always going to be, right?
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, Harry, if you're going to drink Basil Hayden, just get regular Basil Hayden. You're going to get the dark rye. You know what I mean? It's like getting the, remember Bacardi Select? It was like the brown, sugary Bacardi. No, just get regular red. What the fuck are you doing?
I don't know. What do you? I guess he thought it would make me mad. That actually made me laugh and smile so hard because I just like you said. I put out that tweet. I don't want to go back into all that stuff, but if somebody pokes me, if somebody from the past wants to bring it up, okay. All right, let's go. And so I think people misunderstood that. Oh, well, Ralph is never going to respond to these fucking faggot motherfuckers who are fucking with him. Well, no, that's not what I meant. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go out of my way to do it, but I will respond, and I think that's fair.
Yeah, well, no, that's fair, but I just I don't want to see you start fucking going in on these motherfuckers again, because look, there are always going to be people trying to provoke you. I get it all the time. Dude. I literally,
but it's funny though, right?
Somebody just saying that, I'm like, all right, I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old.
You know what? Honestly, and I'll say this, and I'll break Ralph Lamel character or whatever. It's not a character, but it's like me turned up or whatever. Like Stone Cold said, I really would prefer to just settle all that and not have that going on. But okay, if you wanna fuck with me, I know a lot about you, and you're not my speech is not cucked when it comes to you, and the only reason my speech is cucked when it comes to other people is because of the law. And so I'm not going to go to jail, but I can say whatever the fuck I want about Harry Morris and Rochester and how bad it fucking sucks. So
I really did think at first that you were having beef with Carl, and I'm like, oh,
well, I do kind of. What's funny is because I was making fun of Carl and his mom, wife, and stuff, and because he said a couple things. I didn't see it till I got out of rehab. And he was talking a bit of a different game when he was with Masterson. And so, I went on Melton's show the other day, and I thought, okay, here we go, right? I'm getting ready to light it up. But also, I have a code. I'm like Omar, except without the homosexual anal sex, right?
Do you have the same sick bathrobe?
Yeah. No. But it's like, okay, I have a code. We went on there. Carl was cool. And I would have looked like a psycho if I would have just attacked Carl, seemingly out of nowhere. Right. And so we just all had fun dunking on M-hole. And same thing with
fun.
With Mark. Right. It brings everybody together. That's the thing. And so, he wasn't saying shit about me, and we were all laughing and having fun. I would have looked like the weirdo if I would have just attacked him. So he was cool, and we had fun. And he does live in Rochester, which is an embarrassment. But that's his own choice. Maybe he's from there. I don't know. But
it's just funny how Stuttering John was the center of the universe for these people for so long, and he generated so much content of people making fun of him because he is a buffoon. And then just in time for John to ascend into the heavens. It's like finding out that fucking Luke Skywalker has a son. You know what I mean? And you're like, no, but there's another. There's another.
What's funny is I never even was plugged into this. I know Stuttering John because, you know, I know Stern, obviously. I don't really know Opie and Anthony that much because they weren't in my market, right? And so Stern was, because he was in every fucking market. And so I grew up on Stern. I grew up on the E television shows. I've known Stuttering John, well, not personally, but who he was since I was like 12 years old. And he was the, you know, announcer for the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. And it's like, okay, I've seen a few things. I realize he's kind of fallen a bit, but like, you know, it'd be pretty tough to top his, you know, past achievements, right? That's pretty fucking awesome. That he made it to that level. Now I'm not defending him.
I don't only hired him because he hated fucking Stern.
Yes, that's right.
That was a spite hire.
Yeah, because Stern was with Letterman. Yeah, I already know. Yeah, I know that's why. But still, I mean, he was the announcer on the fucking Tonight Show when people actually cared about the fucking Tonight Show.
I think Stuttering John's like the Forrest Gump of show business.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like he's a retard, and he just kept going, like finding his way into these scenarios.
I just never I don't know. I missed it on purpose because I was just like, whatever. I don't, you know, I knew Stuttering John when I was a kid, not, you know, of him, and like, okay, he's saying shit about Chrissy Mayr or whatever. Like, I don't care. Chrissy Mayr sucks. Let's be real. I could get up on stage and give a better set than Chrissy Mayr could. I could be on, you know, fentanyl, OxyContin, cocaine, heroin, Xanax, and 15 bottles of tequila and still be funnier than Chrissy Mayr. So, you know, it is what it is.
No. I mean, I'm not a big Chrissy fan either. She got a little mad at me because we, you know, I don't know if you know about my history with Anthony Cumia.
A little, yeah.
Cumia is not a fan of mine. And,
no, he's not.
So we, Chrissy, like 2 years ago or whatever, contacted Royce and was like, hey, do you guys, because we had her on the show, and then she's like, do you guys want to come on my show, The Wet Spot, like a compound? And Royce is like,
I went on, by the way, one time.
Royce was like, what should we do? And I'm like, just don't say anything. We'll just go. What's the worst that could happen, you know? So we went and we ran into Cumia there, and it turned into a whole shit show. And Cumia fucking ran for me, by the way. We went to Sullivan's afterwards, and it was funny because I saw him.
It's right close. Yeah,
I saw him and he saw me.
Yeah.
And I beelined it past him, and I don't even think Anthony realized how uncomfortable I was. Because I guess he just thought I was sauntering in, but I was overplaying it. I was also like, oh shit, I'm gonna get thrown out. This bitch is gonna be awkward. So I went straight to the bathroom and took a fake piss. Yeah, did one of those moves. And then when I came out, like 2 minutes,
check my phone.
Yeah, just to be like, what am I doing here? And then when I
Yeah.
came out, he was gone, and he ran into Virgie and Royce outside, and they were like, yeah, he was like white as a ghost. And I guess everybody got in trouble. So then Chrissy just started like shit talking me after, like she'd had me on the fucking Simcast and we were all fine and good, and then one day she just started talking shit about me, and I'm like, this fucking goofy tooth bitch, fucking Christmas thief bitch.
Well, I know the story. Red Bar just completely destroyed her. Let's be real. And so,
you know, she opened for me once, right?
I don't even hate her. I even sent her a message. You know, I cut that promo most people have seen about her and Venti and all that stuff. She's just not funny. I don't know what to say.
I have a video of her hosting for me, like fucking, I mean, over a decade ago. It had to be like 2011.
She couldn't open the zipper on my fly, much less my show.
She was
you know
hosting.
what I mean?
I didn't even know her. It was just a show they put me on because I sold tickets back then.
So I don't know. Again, this sounds like I hate her, but I don't. She just
I hate her.
Fuck the bitch then. Yeah,
well, she's
okay.
a woman. For one, she's a woman, right? For two, she's a female stand-up comic, which right away that's 2 strikes. And this whole fake conservative, like, the funniest thing I ever heard, one of the funniest things I ever heard Mike David say was when he called her show Chrissy Mayr's Conservative Wet Spot Hour. That shit fucking killed me. Like, she doesn't know, she can't pick a lane. She doesn't know what she wants to. Does she want to be the horny slut simpcast girl, or does she want to fight for conservative culture? It's like, shut up.
Yeah, I never, it's funny because before she made like the big loop or whatever, she would come on the kill stream. And a lot of people are like this, by the way. I'm kind of like the AAA team or whatever, because they keep me underground for a reason, right? Since I got kicked off YouTube, and that's fine. I've accepted that. I don't like cry about it. It is what it is. But like, she used to come on the show, and then she came on one time and just got completely roasted, and then it seemed to change her demeanor. I've been in Manhattan many times, and so she invited me on her show. I went on. She was nice. But like I don't really know. There's something there, and then I had some controversy. I don't even remember now.
Controversy
right?
number
Like, it's
4027.
Yeah. It's like I really don't even remember now. But she went in on me with her cackling gang of cunts on her show, and dude, I could literally be on 18 milligrams of Xanax, flipping out of my chair, and be more funny than she is. Planned, like with her, with a script and like a stand-up act, I'm more funny just off the cuff.
To be fair, I mean, being on 18 Xanax and falling out of a chair is always hilarious. It's objectively funny no matter who it is. Like, it could be my grandma that it would happen. I'd still be I'd be like, that was the funniest shit I've ever seen.
But like, I mean, I know this is gonna sound like an attack, but she's just not funny, dude. It is what it is.
I got on stage.
Some women who are funny. Somebody was asking me the other day. There are a few, but yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, I got on stage like 3 months ago in San Antonio on a whim and fucking killed, and did 5 minutes of like off the cuff, like I wrote it right before I got on stage, and I'm fucking funnier than Chrissy Mayr, so I don't even give a fuck, man. I hate Davy Jackson. You're a fucking asshole, because it's like getting bit by a vampire, because now I just want to do stand-up again, and I hate stand-up, and I hate stand-up comics. I just want to do it again because I'm so much better at it, and I just want to go and like go to open mics and bully these kids.
I'm a student of stand-up, but I've never actually done stand-up. You know what I mean? So I'm quite confident I could do better than Chrissy, though, to be real. But you know,
we were in San Antonio for Range Day, and we did Davy Jackson's podcast, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm doing a showcase. You want to get on stage?" And I was like, "Yeah, probably not." And I was so fucking hungover from the night, like I got really fucked up. Like, I don't know if you heard the stories from the Range Day, the after party. Like, apparently, like everyone got me and Alex Stein got blackout drunk, and we were like fucking screaming at each other. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. I'm trying to remember. And then they were like, no, you guys, like, me and Alex have like a real weird bromance. They were like, you weren't yelling at each other. Like people were concerned, but then when they heard you guys talking to each other, they could tell you weren't fighting. It's just, you know how Alex has that energy and then you have to match it. And apparently we were like blackout fucking drunk, dude. Like we both had to be removed from the after party because we were gone.
Well, you know, I used to be cool with Stein. Of course, you know, probably won't be cool again, but you know, it is what it is. But
You'd be surprised.
You'd be surprised. He sent me a couple of nice messages, but I kind of went hard on the whole, you know, mom stunt thing, because my mom, you know, anyway, I won't get into it just because.
I know, man, and I get it. I just like I
think that's distasteful. I'm just gonna be real, right? Like, you know, filming your mother on her deathbed while she's literally dying.
I was uncomfortable by it.
That was too much. That was too much, dude.
I was uncomfortable with it, but I'm not. You know,
but you know, it is what it is. Whatever.
I'm
like,
saying that's my dog. Yeah, we wouldn't have had a 2-year Rumble contract without that motherfucker. So
yeah, I don't sit here and think, oh, how can I, you know, get back at him? I've said all I could say about Stein. So
he's even tried to get my YouTube channel back for me to no avail. But I just have to read these real quick. Goat Explosion for $15 just says Ethan motherfucking Ralph. That was actually a great. I need to cut that out of the show and make that a sound.
Did that play in? That was my that's what I tell Google Voice. Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna fucking make a sound drop of that. Zen Rhino for $5 said Ralph will always be Ralph, and thank God for that. And then Sonny D Seltzer. Oh no, this is Harry Morris. Although I don't think it's not the real Harry Morris.
It might be. You would be surprised. He actually has sent me super chats. Like he's that psychotic.
Ko-Fi's weird though. Ko-Fi's weird. So sometimes like it'll preview the real. It's one of the listeners fucking with me. But we'll go with the bit. Harry Morris for 50 said, Mersh, don't talk about my tile work until you have an in-unit washer dryer. you still depend on the Bank of Royce like a stay-at-home wife. That is fair. I do my laundry.
Yeah,
at
well, you
Royce's
know what?
house.
It's funny that his wife, Harry Morris's wife, left him for a bartender who she was fucking behind his back, and left him with various obligations and just dipped out. So and they lived in the same town. It wasn't a different country type situation. She left him for the bar. She was doing a bartender gig on the side or whatever for extra money.
She was doing a gig,
and she fucked the bartender and left him with all the obligations, so to speak. And so he's got a lot of nerve talking about any type of female problems. I mean, Jesus Christ,
Just a heads up, gentlemen. If your girl works at a bar, she is cheating on you. I ran bars for fucking
no
15
shit.
years.
I was gonna say, don't let that happen. Like, what are you doing in the first place? Especially when you look like Harry Morris and you have no game whatsoever. I mean, it is what it is. But again, I wasn't even thinking about Harry Morris, but he decided to poke me. Well, guess what? I'm fully legally allowed to say anything the fuck I want about Harry Morris as long as it's not defamatory, and I've said nothing defamatory. So
I gotta ask. Because you actually wanted to ask me, because I guess you said on the air the other day that you wanted to hear my feedback about Melton.
Yeah.
And I thought
you guys were cool.
I got my
actually.
fucking car repoed. So the day you
I did because of Jesse. Yeah, I heard.
No, not because of him.
But I heard I heard from you first. But
how could you get? How could anyone get my car repoed? Oh, you're talking about you heard it from him.
Yeah. So I was watching your show and you were talking about I watch your show probably more than anybody else's because it comes on right after mine, right? And so I'll tune it in, and sometimes I, throw the viewers over or whatever. And so I was listening. You're talking about, I hope the car thing goes down tomorrow and this and that, but I didn't really know the whole deal. And then of course Jesse, he has the beef and all this, and so he comes on talking about tow this and tow that. Like I don't know.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. I didn't even mean to bring it up. Only that the day that somebody was like, "Hey, Ralph wants you to come on the show," was the day I had to get up in the morning and go get my car back. And I did that, came back, did ROTC, got no sleep, and I was just out cold. And I'm like, all right. And then finally you DM'd me. But no, look, my deal with Melton is simple. And I've explained it on the air before too, right? I don't have any beef with him. I don't. I actually think some of the coverage.
Somebody told me you called him a pedo. Is that true?
I've never straight up called him a pedo, but he has had some very just weird hot takes
around the edges.
I've definitely denounced and disavowed some of his ethical AI generated child porn hot takes. You know what I mean? I don't think. Here's what I actually did say, and this is what got under his skin, was because he kept using Aaron Imholt's child's name, her full name, in his video descriptions and stuff. So then the SEO is this 10-year-old girl, and it's her, you know what I mean? It's all these weird stalkery things about Aaron's kids and stuff. And then he said the stuff about AI porn. So and you know this, Ralph, you're a broadcaster yourself. You know how to say something without defaming people.
Sure, I just did.
So I just said, look, man, I'm not saying he touches kids, but what I'm saying is based on these two situations alone, he is an active danger to children. That's what I said. And that's legal. You are an active danger to children. You're doing weird shit.
I don't disagree, but I thought you guys were cool. He invited me on the show. Actually, I was trashing Carl on the timeline that day. And then all of a sudden he's like, "Hey, you want to come on this little pig or whatever to talk about Aaron?" I said, "Yeah, of course." Now I'm going in thinking, all right, it might be a throwdown with Carl, but, Carl's like, "Hey, we've been there, done that." And I was there to talk about M-Hole anyway. And like I said earlier, I would have looked like a psycho if I would have just, started going on Carl. And we pretty much all agreed on on everything that was said, right? So I had a good time on the show. I just didn't realize you guys had beef.
It's not beef. It's really not a beef. I can boil it down to... I'm too old to be beefing with anybody. All right, I'm
not. But go ahead.
I'm fucking gonna be 42 in 3 months, and I'm literally a bad adult who just
you got 3 years on me, but that's okay. Yeah. I'm not there yet. Yeah, go ahead.
Those 3 don't feel like 3, brother. So prepare yourself. It's gonna get exponentially worse every year. But no, I don't have a beef with. Here's my thing. I have no beef with Patrick Melton. I have no beef with Pot Awful. They seem to have some weird beef with me. Now, my only thing is I can have beef like just like you. I can have a fucking meltdown publicly and start fighting with somebody and then make up with them 2 days later and be like, all right, man, I probably shouldn't have aired that out publicly. We both agree to fucking disagree. Whatever. We're cool again.
It's not really that serious. Usually at the end of the day, sometimes it can rise to that level, but I talked about
Chris Pavlovsky a faggot on Twitter and tagged him.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it can rise to that level, but usually no, right? So yeah, that's my stance too.
But yeah, so really it's not a beef. My issue and my concern with dealing with, and again, the only two people I really see, well, actually three people, because somebody to bring up Worski too. I would say Worski, Pot Awful, and Melton are all in a very similar category for me, which is not that I have no beef with them. I as to quote the great Nick Rekieta, I hope they make $1 million. But they're fundamentally dishonest people, and always 100% of the time they are coming from a dishonest place. And I'm just at a point in my life, I'd rather deal with an authentic asshole than an inauthentic wormy fuck. You know what I mean? And it's always a lie. There's always an angle, and it's certain people are just exhausting. I'm an old man now, and I just have zero association or contact with those people because it's always going to be some dishonest gay ops angle with these people. They can't just, I have no beat. Like if you wanted to make like if I did 18 Xannies and fell out of my chair, I'd yell at Ralph if he didn't play the clip and laugh at it.
Yeah, it's funny. I played on my own show. Yeah.
But when you start inventing fiction and canon and backstories and trying to shape events, it's like you're not a fucking internet supervillain. You're a fag. You're a 30-something-year-old fag who lives off his parents. Like, it's not a cool look. So there's just some people I'm like, no, I just won't do it. Because Carl's done that before. Carl's invited me to be like, hey, come on, this little piggy. And then like, I'll go to do the show and I see Melton's there and I'll just tell Carl, I'm like, not going to do it. I just won't. There's certain people I won't be on with because everything they say, 99% of it's a fucking lie.
Well, people might not know this. I've tried to get you and Jesse on at the same time many times, and you're just like, no, I just won't do it. And I respect that. But he told me on the show, and again, I see, clowns in chat. Jesse's playing me. Look, I know who everybody is, and I know what the deal is, and I'm cool. We're cool at this point. We did some good shows, whatever. But like, I have a code. I think we talked about this earlier, and so. The stuff with Masterson, it happened, whatever. I felt, and there's arguments on both sides, of course, but I felt like there was a certain level, him sitting there yucking it up with, 400-pound Vito, like talking shit about me. Okay, well, we can be the best of friends, and then all of a sudden we're not. When something like that happens, and also it was a wild week. It is what it is, but if you're a friend of mine, you're a friend of mine, and so I'm not gonna trash you or anybody else who I consider a friend. And so, I realize you and Jesse have that, immortal beef going on, but I
mean, it really is again a one-sided thing. It's been one guy literally stalking me for like 7 years.
But didn't you guys used to be cool?
No, we were all right with each other. And then, I went out to New York. I actually, bought everybody drinks, was being a magnanimous host, and he was literally like filming it the whole time, like streaming it, sneak dissing me and shit, which you know what I mean? And I'm like, all right, I'm just trying to be a nice fucking guy. And then he went nuclear when we had Dick on the show, and he's like, do you not know my backstory with him? And I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I don't know everybody's backstories. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't follow every beef. So no, and then it's been every kind of angle he could do to fuck with me ever since. And it's like, all right, man, I mean, if that's gonna be your fucking life, but it is what it is. I don't reciprocate. I don't do it. Like, it's not like I'm cooking up schemes against Pot Awful on the weekend. That's his gig. That's his gimmick. So it just gets annoying, and I'm honestly almost impressed that it's gone on for as long as it has, because it's like it almost takes a very sick, weird amount of dedication to get to that level where you're still going. It's like, all right.
Well, I don't know if you saw, maybe not. We did a show the other night, and he said he had offered you the chance to, I think it was to ambush Imholt or something, if I'm correct. I can't remember.
Yeah, he DM'd me and was like, "Hey, come on the show. We'll get Imholt on it, and you'll go on." And I'm like, "No, like, why would I come on your show? Like, you know what I mean? Like, no. Why would I give that event to you? You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
I wouldn't even come on the fucking. I wouldn't even do it on the
Yeah.
kill stream because at the time, trust me, and I
try
regret
to
it.
talk you into
I
it
regret
so
it to this
much.
day because
Yeah.
at that
Oh,
time
man.
I had no animosity. I really just thought Aaron
God,
was
it would have been
because at the
gold.
time he was just a buffoon, and I was laughing at him. I didn't
I
understand.
talked to
what a
Virgie too, and I'm
sociopath-
like, he's like, oh, I'll get him.
Virgie
Like,
was trying so hard.
We'll make it happen. Don't worry, I'll get him in. And he couldn't, and I couldn't, and it was like, all right, whatever.
If I had known then what a fucking sociopath he would reveal himself to be, I would have jumped on the chance. But like at the time, I was like, oh, he's just a fucking idiot. He's bumbling through this polycule thing. He's having a rough go of it. You know what I mean? So I didn't really think much of it.
It did. Of course, I don't see every show, but the tone of coverage seemed to change a little, right? Like, where it's like, I feel sorry for this guy, and he's making a mistake every mistake. To like, okay, fuck this guy. Right?
Well,
like,
yeah, because you get to that point, you go, okay, fuck this fucking guy, man. Because then it's like, then you're sending out, alleged revenge porn, and just it's this weird. Like, and it's maybe just not as like it's fascinating because guys like us have been studying people like this our whole lives on the internet. It's that classic. I'm gonna double and triple down and make up more lies, and like just the fact that he thinks that this stuff's not gonna come out, like that blows me the fuck away. That he just thinks he can like lie about stuff and eventually people aren't gonna go, I don't think that's true, and it's demonstrably false. And I just Googled, and it's absolutely the opposite of that. Like all these stories about when he went to jail, he was cool. Everybody thought he was a cool guy in jail, and like, but now he's talking about revenge porn, and he's like, oh yeah, me and the prosecutor, man. The prosecutor even says this is stupid and dumb, and I'm like, no, they did not. They would never say that, publicly or privately. Would they say that? Like he makes that. He just makes
that's not
shit
how they
up.
work, man.
But he makes up stuff like a 10-year-old does.
I know Gino. He's a friend of yours, right? And so, or associate, whatever.
I love Gino. Him and
I talked to him earlier tonight as well.
Him any favors though right now. They both need to shut
he
the fuck
messaged
up.
me. So like I saw some of the clips, and
I love Gino.
Of course,
my God,
I do too. Like I'm not trying to trash him. Of course, we didn't always, get along, but like I did a show. I'm like, hey, Gino, they'll drag your ass to Minnesota if they have to in cuffs, right? Like that's what they'll do. If it goes to trial and he doesn't cut a deal, that's what they'll do. Because, I can read the documents and there's reciprocation between the states and there's exact law, almost exactly to the word, same law and same state. And, if you don't, unfortunately or fortunately, I know the law pretty well. And the reason is because I've been in a courtroom a lot. And
more than any one man should ever have had to be.
Yes, dude. I'm not kidding. Hundreds of times probably. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, Keanu, like, this is not good. And Mercado sent in that troll tweet. Hey, that's a good way to get a bench warrant. I know they took that, as like an attack, but he wasn't like,
that's not a threat.
I guess it's not, I mean, I guess it was kind of like a shit talk, but it's also true. And so Gino messaged me the other day and I said, he said, what went on with you in Minnesota? And I said, hey, I broadcast Imholt's revenge porn hearing, his initial hearing, and they put out a nationwide warrant for me. And I live in Mexico. Now I could have just said, if I didn't care about seeing my son or whatever, I could have just said, fuck you, and just stayed in Mexico for the rest of my life and said, fuck it. But, obviously I still have concerns in America, right?
Yeah,
and
I mean,
so,
you don't want, and honestly, even if you just, it's a thing you never want hanging over your head,
You just got to take care of it, right? But I said, man, this is Stearns County. This isn't Kinneohai County. There seems to be a difference there. And I said, man, and I know he's cool with him or whatever. I'm not trying to drive a wedge, but I said, man, they will, like, if it goes to trial and you are a material witness and so is Keanu, like they will compel you to come. Now, you can just show up or
yeah. Well, no, and it's
ways,
also like
right?
it's just like jail, right? You're like,
Yeah.
If I found out I had a warrant in like Hillsborough County, right, which is Tampa, I don't live in Tampa. I'm in Polk County. The last thing I want is Polk County picking me up, transferring me to Polk County jail,
Oh, dude,
then put me in the fucking van, and then you have to take the van to the fucking. It's a miserable. Just go to Tampa, go to Orient Road Jail, and go. Hey, I heard there's a warrant for me. Let's get this over with.
Well, I said, I was talking about planes, they'll fly them in. Then somebody reminded me they don't have to fly you in. They can come and get you by vehicle and then transport you across the country, and you have to stay in various jails or whatever across the country. I'm like, yeah, they can be as nice or as mean as they want, right? Like, and so, and Gino said, hey, I'm saying this because he asked me, can I say what you said on air? And I said, sure. So, I consider it public record, but I told him, man, yeah, they do actually have the right. He said, isn't this silly? And I said, yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways it is silly. But that being said, the government's fucking silly. And so they can compel you to appear and don't catch a warrant for M. Holt is literally what I told him. And I'm not trying to, start beef. I think he's going to be on my show on Wednesday, actually, Gino. But it's like, hey, man, even if you feel some allegiance towards him or whatever, like, don't catch a warrant for this guy on you're not even charged with any crime either. It's like, okay, and Keanu's right. Like, I saw her and I know she's kind of befuddled by it too. And she's like, look, we already told them what we know. Why can't they just use that? Well, there's the Sixth Amendment to the Constitution. That's
there's
the problem.
A difference between lying to cops and perjury. There's a whole system in place. That's why.
Well, I mean, yeah, and there's the Sixth Amendment, and the defendant has the right to confront their accusers, right? The opposing witnesses, and so like that's why you may have to show up in person. Now, if M. Holt hangs, since I was told he's already refused a plea deal, I don't know
which is
if
insane
that's true.
To me.
Well, that's insane. Yeah. I mean, and I assume it was probably, kind of, I won't say sweetheart, but I would imagine it was kind of kind, right?
Anything that wasn't the felony.
If he got any deal where he didn't have to eat a felony, he should have taken it right away.
Yeah. That's my philosophy in life anyway, with any crime. If I get accused of something, I immediately will get a lawyer and go, can we just make sure I can vote and have a gun? Like anything that's too short of that,
they made me eat a felony. I didn't even hit the police. And they charged me with 2 counts because I took 2 swings or whatever. Didn't hit anybody. No, was not a female cop. Regardless, wouldn't matter if it was or not. Really, I don't give a fuck. Fuck a bitch. Yeah, I was gonna say fuck a bitch. But regardless, and they said, okay, so you have 2 felony assault on law enforcement, the top tier obstruction of justice, and it was like I think disorderly or public intox. And they said, we'll drop them all, but you have to cop to 1 felony. And my lawyer was shocked. Like, he said this wouldn't happen, but it did happen, and it's a mandatory minimum 6 months. And so I was like, well, okay. And he showed me the evidence and said, look, if they played these tapes, and they had me in the car, like I'm in the car talking shit, like fuck you, copper pig, like fucking cocksucker, like he put on Eminem on his radio, and I'm rapping along calling him a faggot fuck, like he's like, if they play this in court, and then they had footage of me going into the jail and I'm still talking shit. He said, if they play this in court, man, you're looking at like 2 to 4 years in jail. And it's like, in Europe or Mexico or anywhere else, this would never happen. But in the U.S., unfortunately, that's the way it is. And so I was like, all right, well, I just have to eat the felony. And so I did. But like, if they offered him a deal where he didn't have to eat the felony and he turned it down, that's foolish. And some people speculated. I'm not trying to put heat on Gino or Keanu because, we're cool now. But like, I've said this on air because it's like, I don't know, he seems really cocky in ways that shouldn't exist, right? Like,
well, because he doesn't live in fucking reality. We've seen this.
But it's like, look, dude, they're going to protect their own skin at the end of the day, and like anybody else, and they're not actually charged with a crime.
I don't like
I don't
anybody
know.
enough to commit perjury for him. I'll lie
No,
to, I'll lie to
fuck no.
cops for you, and I'll lie to private investigators. I'll lie for my friends. But man, if they're gonna compel me, fucking there's a bailiff there, and
Dude,
I'm
if
like,
I'm on the
okay,
stand,
man,
I'm on the stand.
All right, look,
I
my
mean,
man. All right,
Maybe I can't recall a few things,
okay,
you know,
he
but
did have some
I'm
blood
not
on
gonna.
his sneakers. I'm not gonna lie, I did see blood on his sneakers.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get up there. I don't quite recall. I could say some shit like that, but like I'm not gonna get up there and lie for a motherfucker. And they already, according to what I've heard, they already said this to the police, right? And so if you contradict that, they're gonna say, "Hey, you said this to the officer when they called you, and now you're saying another thing," and so that's perjury, or could be construed as perjury, and so. And Gino was really cool about it. And I don't think Gino fully understood that this could happen to him. Right. And so,
no, Gino's just like, and I mean this affectionately, I'm not shitting on Gino, right? But Gino's just like a fucking drunk idiot who's a good comic, who's literally lived his whole life as a stand-up comic. He's never been, you know what I mean? He's never done time. He's not a felon. He's just a drunk comedian that has his whole life done comedy. Has no idea how any of this shit works.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, man, first off, I know Stearns County well, but I just know the court well. And like, also you're in America too. And it's like, all right, well, they know where you live. And I mean, I also said this on my show the other day. It seems like Stearns County and Minnesota in particular are like just sick of these internet fucks. And myself included.
No,
right?
They're definitely, they've had it. That's been my theory for some time, that they're going to make an example out of Aaron because they fucking, and another theory floating around, and there's probably a little bit of truth to it. I don't know, but there's a lot of people that are speculating. Aaron also did the fucking Nick Rekieta case. No fucking favors. And I think the system's a little pissed at Aaron right now. Old fucking blabbermouth, who probably really did poke a lot of holes in the fucking case against Rekieta.
We did.
And just running his mouth and getting involved. And it's like, then the revenge porn during the fucking kid. Like, they gave Rekieta an out on this. Like, Rekieta got off pretty much. I mean, I know he had to take a bit of an L, but it could have been a lot worse. Yeah, but dude,
honestly, he got okay, so he technically pled guilty, but the plea is not going to be entered. And so if he completes what he needs to complete, he won't be a felon.
Yeah, he got the Marlo Sanfield deal.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be like it didn't happen. Like, yeah, he got the Marlo, and it's like, okay, that's the best. I mean, maybe it could have been a little bit better, but it's like, okay,
now cut to a couple months from now, and Nick Rekieta's just walking down to a street corner in a suit.
On the corner, I love the final scene where they're like, "Me and you are both wire marks." I was gonna say, but like, I mean, Josh Moon, all these people, Rekieta's going to be ruined. No, he's not. First off, Rekieta is rich and will be rich until he dies. And so, they're like, oh, it's crazy to try to get the warrant thrown out. No, if you have money, that's the first thing you try to do. Is to get the warrant thrown out, right? Okay, it might not work.
You take every shot. That's the whole point of getting a good lawyer and being like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're probably not going to throw it out, but I'm going to file like 6 motions to dismiss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what your lawyer's supposed to do.
People treated that as insanity, Mersh. People who don't know the law treated that as like, oh my God, Rekieta's crazy and he's delusional. It's
because
like, no,
they needed Rekieta to burn for some fucking weird reason. The internet now is, we built this guy up for years, and now we want to burn his whole life to the ground. And it's like a weird fucking thing.
I've been there.
I mean, everybody's had I've had it to a much lesser degree, but we've all had a taste of it. And it's like, I'm still to this day blown away by how many people wanted him to just burn. And I'm like, I've hung out with Nick many times. Like I'm friends with Nick. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, I could get it. You could be a little smug sometimes. And sure, wanting to see somebody get knocked down a peg is fine. But like, these people wanted his fucking life undone. They thought, they were literally saying things like his children would be better off in the care of CPS. And that's like, I'm sorry, man, but that's like the worst thing for a kid ever. Most kids are better off in, and I'm not saying that Nick has an abusive home. But what I'm saying is, even if you're in an abusive home, you're better
You're
off
better
there.
than CBS.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, dude, are you kidding? Like, do people even know what anyway, I don't know personally, but I've seen the evidence, right? No, you don't want that's the worst case scenario, period. And so, yeah, I see all these people, and I think a lot of it is they saw Ricada as their internet dad, right? And so
that's on them.
Yeah, and I see some people, of course, some things I can't talk about. They're mentioning Xander. I'm going to see Xander in March, and that's my awesome son. He looks just like me. I can't wait to see him again. And so, there's other things I have to take care of. But you see these psychopaths in the chat, and they take glee. Oh, you can't see so and so. You can't do this. You can't do that. Well, I will be seeing my son next month, cocksucker. And so, it's really hard to lose your parental rights. It's almost impossible unless you're molesting kids or just flat out beating them into a pulp. That's really the only way. Murderers on fucking, in prison get to see their kids, right? And so this whole thing was a fantasy, and a lot of these people bought into, oh, Nick's my internet dad, and he let me down. And it's obviously people with daddy issues, right? In my opinion. And they see these people I don't know, Mersh.
What got me was all the people telling him Nick Ricada was probably the first time I'd ever seen that level of moral fagging. We've all seen moral fagging our whole lives. Sure. This got down to straight up spiritual moral fagging. Hearing people on fucking Kiwi Farms saying that Nick Ricada needs to repent and all this shit about coming clean with God and stuff. And I'm like, people on Kiwi Farms. Okay, dude, whatever, man.
Well, when have they ever repented, right?
That's why it's so funny to me that all of a sudden everybody in the fucking Kiwi Farms was a Catholic bishop. And it's mind you, fucking beeswax, you faggots.
Dude, they had a threat on my son before he was born. And I won't mention the other thing, but they did that too, right? And so these are not all, some people just check in once in a while and it's lulls or whatever. I don't... I understand that, right? But some people are so invested, and this is the ultimate scumbaggery. To act like you have some type of moral high ground against Nick Ricada because he had some cocaine and was, doing whatever with the throuple, it's stupid.
It's and it is. I will say this, and I've said this publicly before to my audience, so they know I've said this on the air before, but I don't think I've ever addressed it with you. How does it feel to be the guy who broke Kiwi Farms? Because before Kiwi Farms was yeah, we just report on a little bit of goofy stuff here and there or whatever, and then you were the first one I remember them being we have to destroy him. And it's wait, what happened to just observe and report?
Observe.
You know what I mean? And you were the guy that single-handedly broke Kiwi Farms.
Well, you're not the only one who has told me that. And it's, I don't know. You know why it is, though? Because I was defiant. And they're used to people bowing down to them, right? And oh, please forgive me, and da da da. And it's you know what? Eat a fucking bullet, cocksuckers. I don't give a fuck about you. You don't even know me in real life. People who see me on the screen, you never met me. You have, Mersh. And so it's these people don't fucking know me. Fuck you, cocksuckers. And I was just unrepentant. Fuck all you motherfuckers. And so they have a real problem when you don't bow down to them and you say, fuck you. You know what? Come get me then, cocksucker. And Ricada kind of did the same thing, right? And they really can't handle that. They're used to, oh, please forgive me. And please, Kiwi Farms, forgive me. And no, I didn't mean it. Da, da, da. You know what? Fuck Kiwi Farms.
No, of course. And the moral fagging doesn't come from a genuine place. And especially when
No.
people are genuinely rooting for your downfall. The other funny thing they did with Rekieta was constantly going, why isn't he talking about his active pending felony drug case?
Because he has a penny.
You know what I mean? Why isn't he talking about it on his stream? And it's like, I wouldn't either, you know? Like,
Why doesn't he just come out and admit to multiple, felonies before before he has a deal?
Speaking of which, Keanu is
reasons.
doing fucking Aaron no favors. She's got to stop talking. Well, it's already too late, actually. She doesn't even need to stop talking. You know? Have you seen some
Well,
of
they
these
have
clips of
Aaron
her?
dead to rights. Yeah, go ahead.
But have you seen the clips of her?
Well, look, I'm trying to be nice.
She's
I
given
have
the
nothing
motive.
against
No, I
Keanu.
like Keanu, but she's got to. I said this earlier on my show before you came on. I'm like, Keanu, I like you. Like, I've met her. I met Gino. They're lovely people. Gino's a great guy. I don't mean this from a bad place, but you've got to shut the fuck up right now. She's doing him no favors.
Well, the DMs I had with Gino, I'm like, he seemed to. It's not that he's dumb. He just doesn't have experience with this sort of thing. And I'm like, man, dude, do not like fuck up your own life over some shit where they're not even after you, right? Like, just do
Especially for
whatever
Aaron.
they say. And yeah, especially Aaron.
Burn your life down for Aaron. You don't think Aaron would snitch on you in a fucking heartbeat?
And then I saw their latest clip. I guess it was a day or two ago, and they say, well, of course, if we have to go, and we'll go, and we didn't mean it like that, and maybe they didn't. I honestly don't think they realized that they actually can be compelled in a very bad way to come to Minnesota. And so when I talked to Gino, I'm like, man, yeah, they can actually do that. And he said, I said this already. Isn't that silly? Well, yeah, I mean, it is, but they can. And so don't get crossed up because of that. And, if Aaron had any sense, he would be on his hands and knees begging the prosecutor to give him whatever fucking deal.
Any misdemeanor, I'll take it.
Yeah, right. Like, just take it. Because if this goes to trial, it's completely fucked. And I don't know if you saw the Rekieta tweet. Apparently, there's, he was being elusive, I guess, a little bit with what he said. But there may or may not be texts where M. Holt, explicitly said that, I'm doing this to embarrass so and so, et cetera, et cetera. Well, that's the definition of harassment, right? Right. And so they have him. And if they want him, they can put that felony on him. And so, but, prosecutors don't really want to go to trial. No lawyer wants to go to trial. That's the secret that people don't really understand unless you've been involved with this. They don't really want to go to trial. And so if you're, I don't think it's right, but like respectful and, have some sense about you and just take the best deal you can get and get out of there. That's it.
Have you heard these Keanu streams though?
I saw a couple clips recently.
The stuff of her saying stuff like, yeah, he sent the picture. That's not disseminating. He just sent one nude picture of a woman. And so what? And then now the latest one was my favorite because now she also gave the prosecution motive. Because she goes, just leave him alone. It was a mistake. He was a broken man. He was hurt. He was lashing out. I'm like, what are you doing? Stop talking.
And again, I'm trying to be, I know this is not my
I love Gino.
reputation.
I love Gino
I'm
and
trying to be
Keanu.
nice.
I love them.
But
they are not doing Aaron any favors.
Yeah, and I see this and I'm like, well, they have him dead to rights. Even if they'll make him show up if they have to, but like even just with what's been said, they have him on the felony, right? And so, prosecutors, people don't, some people do, but not everybody understands that. Like they care about their win rate and they especially care about their felony win rate and they want it to be like 98, 99%.
Yeah, because you don't want to be working for the fucking state forever.
Yeah. Of course, they're going to go into defense law eventually. That's where the money is, right? Not working for the state. And so they want to say, hey, I was a badass fucking prosecutor and, this, that, and the other. So, I don't know, maybe M. Holt can get out of it eventually or with something he can accept. But he's been so smug and so, look, I've been smug before too, but not on some shit like this. And I don't know. I'm baffled every time I hear him talk. I'm like, you're a fucking dumbass. Like, dude, just shut the fuck up.
Bro,
Don't even
just
talk about this.
Even the shit that's not related to his case, just dumb shit he said in the past about how like going to jail was fun and cool. Like that kind of shit really fucks you at sentencing, bro. Like just being so flippant about the whole thing is not.
He acts like he's honorary deputy or some shit. And it's like, dude,
they even let me sit. They even let me sit in the fire truck out front. Fucking he's a child.
Yeah, they were playing you fucking moron. Like, what the fuck? The police are not your friends. And
yeah, me and the prosecutor, we even took the same elevator. Yeah, it's a small courthouse.
But I know, Master and I had our falling out or whatever. But like, I think we share the same philosophy. The police are not your friends, and they talk to the police. They didn't have to do that. That's another thing. They asked me, and I said, you know what? I don't talk to police. Now I ended up having the warrant put out, but I got out with a pretty reasonable deal, right? It's like, okay, I made Aaron Imholt, showed his footage of him looking like his dog just got killed in front of him, and nobody would have seen that if it wasn't for me.
And also, that was a bullshit charge because you weren't like the only guy. You know what I mean?
No, he did it himself to April.
Yeah, you were the one that caught all the heat, but it was like I remember being like, I was like, I watched that stream too. Like we all were guilty of that shit.
Yeah, it was more like, okay,
I think you were the one that got it. I think is why you got in trouble. It was like because you were up bright and early with your cup of coffee, like cracking your knuckles at your keyboard and shit.
Well, Imholt and some of these other idiots thought Rekieta gave me the link. I literally sent in. There's a contact form on their county website, and I said, hey, I'd like to observe this hearing, and that's how I got the link, right? Just being respectful, said, hey, I'd like the link, and they sent it to me 15 minutes before it started, and I said, hey, I'm going live, and I made some mistakes. Of course, I'm totally remorseful to the state of Minnesota. I completely apologize for anything, but seeing him on camera just totally defeated. It was worth every penny, Mersh.
No, it was amazing.
Be real.
It was amazing. It was very well done. I don't know if it was as good as the April court appearance. That was actually funny. That one kills me.
But he broadcast that too. Like he's done it too. And by the way, Rekieta, I broadcast his hearing, and so did so many other people. And he didn't go he mentioned it, but like he didn't go through and say, oh, I got to pull up so-and-so, da-da-da. Imholt went on his show and admitted that, of course, he's a classic snitch and he's proud of it, apparently. And he said, I told my lawyer who it was and the judge knows and this and that. And it's like, all right, snitch fuck. Like, I mean, I don't know. Whatever you think about Rekieta, he didn't do that. He did mention that his rights are kind of violated there, but he didn't say, oh, Ralph did this. And I wasn't the only one, by the way. There were like 10, 20 people broadcasting that live. And so nobody got in trouble. And so when Imholt's thing came up, I was like, all right, whatever. Everybody's doing it. I'll do it. It just so happened to be I was the only one with the link, right? I was the only one that had it. And so they taught me a lesson, and it is what it is, as Dusty Rhodes would say, right?
What was the one where people started yelling at the judge? Was that Aaron's or April's? There was one where I remember they started yelling. The judge was like, "Can we please not have people commenting?" And he's like, "This is a free country.
I think that was Nick, actually.
Tell me what to do." The judge
and they're yelling like the N word and all this stuff.
Was
and
awesome too.
I talked to Nick. We did the stream. Of course, I was trash or whatever, but he said, the judge, like they had no clue what they were involved with, right? And I don't know. Imholt's playing with fire, and I hope they lock him up for 30 years. Fuck him. I don't care. Yeah. So he's a piece of trash. I just didn't understand the whole Melton thing. I thought all you guys were cool. That's why.
And honestly, again, I don't have an open beef with Melton. I've complimented Melton. I think that his Aaron stuff has been very funny. I complimented his super tip system and his ability to put on shows. I don't, it's just that he's kind of in that Andy Worski pot awful category for me, where you're just so fundamentally dishonest. I'm at that point in my life, man. I don't want to deal with people I can't trust to ever have any kind of genuine moment. Like everything's an angle or a scam. Like you, I can deal with. You are who you are on a surface level. You know what I mean? There's no fucking schemes with you. You know what I mean?
It's not hard to read
deal
me.
with in life. You know?
Yeah. I won't say anything bad about Melton because he's always been cool to me. He had me on the other day. It was a fun show.
Yeah,
but
and I wouldn't ask you to. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
again, I don't really
So
have beef with the guy. I just don't
I'm-
trust him, and I can't fuck with people.
Yeah, that's fine.
Too old to mess with
Yeah.
motherfuckers I can't trust. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. But to me, M. Holt's the guy who really needs to be brought down a peg or a 3. Because, like I said, Deputy Barney
he's-
Fife here
Aaron's
thinks he's on the
demonstrably worse.
force.
He's a worse person than Melton, but
Yeah, and it's not even like okay. The morality thing, like I don't really get involved with that because it's a nasty business, like I always say, and things happen, whatever. But he's been so smug and talks such shit, and man. The police don't fuck around at a certain point, and you thought you were on the force and you weren't. And Jesse, I know you don't like him, but he said something. He's like, Aaron doesn't realize it, but he's been under arrest for weeks, and they're just waiting to pop him. And then he decides to send photos live on air and all this stuff. And far be it from me to pontificate and get on the moral mountain about revenge porn, but it's a law, and they have you for felony revenge porn too. So,
well, I believe the felony versus the misdemeanor.
Well, it's
they have to
'cause the
prove,
harassment.
like, if he's proving that he's doing it to harass, which I'm thinking now that Keanu and Aaron have been running their mouths publicly, now they can kind of establish that now. Now you're in trouble.
Well, that's why if I was, and again, I don't know, he has a lawyer, whatever, but like. That's why I sit here and think, what motivation would they have to cut him like a nice deal at this point, right? They have him. And, I talked to Gino. I haven't talked to Keanu, but like I'm quite certain they'll show up if they have to. And
he's got a 90-day suspended sentence hanging over him.
Yeah, we'll have to serve that on top. Oh man, I completely forgot about that. Brother.
Yeah, everybody forgets about the old violating the HRO sentence.
Oh my god, dude! It's like, and you know what? To get that, like, so no contact or whatever order they want to call it, temporary restraining order or DVRO, whatever the fuck. So people don't really understand how these hearings work. So they show up and they say, so and so is alleged this, and that. Do you want to fight it? Now, if you fight it, sometimes these are criminal allegations they are putting on you, right? So if you fight it, they have an evidentiary hearing, and there's testimony, and you don't have to ever testify. Obviously, you have that right on the Constitution, but these things can be used against you and potentially used against you in future criminal trials. So unless you have a slam dunk, just knock it out of the park. Like, I'm going to get this knocked out. You just agree to it, right? Because you don't want that as possible future evidence against you, basically. And so, I'm not commenting on any specific situation of mine, but it's it's like, okay, whatever, eat the order. But okay, so then there's the order in place. Now, unless you actually show up physically towards somebody or repeatedly break the order. So the first time you break the order, they'll be like, hey, contempt of court, $500 fine, whatever. But the more times that ramps up, the closer you get to going to jail, and he already has a 90-day suspended sentence. I've never had that. I've dealt with similar issues. And so it's like, okay, you're really fucking up here. And now you have this hanging over your head. I don't know. Maybe the boxing coach can help him out of it. I'm not sure.
The boxing lawyer, actually.
He's a dumbass. This guy, or he's got dementia.
So
I don't know what's wrong with him.
I feel bad. He's being taken advantage of, for sure.
Yeah, I feel bad, but also he's running an unsafe shop, obviously, by letting it. Look, I respect boxing. I've been watching boxing since I was 6-7 years old. And, I'm not a boxer, but I respect the sport. And, the whole thing, I was never going to show up and fight this idiot. Not for free. Like, I'll show up for, give me $5-10 grand. Yeah, I might show up. But I'm not gonna fight him for free. Like, what the fuck?
I'm not even
for free on the street.
Put wraps
Yeah.
on my hands for free. That should take like fucking
fuck
5
that.
minutes.
That's stupid. I fought for free, but it's been out on the street, right? Like, okay,
exactly.
I couldn't avoid that, right? But they call it prize fighting for a reason. It's about the prize, not really about the fight. And so, like, oh, show up, Ralph. But he actually, like, say I would have shown up. Say, for instance, I would have put him in a coma, or he would have put me in a coma, or somebody would have got seriously hurt. Like, that guy would have lost his gym. Not only that, there could have been lawsuits filed back and forth. And, you know, Aaron put him in a lot of jeopardy. Aaron, honestly, not really Aaron, but the gym owner should be thankful I didn't show up, because if somebody would have got hurt or like, you know, there's no doctors there. There's no real, you know, structure there. That's not how an official boxing gym, and I think they're licensed under USA Boxing or whatever. Like, that's not how you conduct it, right? And so, of course, I was never going to show up anyway. I thought it was silly watching him bounce around while I'm drinking a beer in Minnesota. And so,
and honestly, I still don't understand this. Everything about this guy is like, he wastes so much energy just trying to prove how cool and how tough he is. And it's like, man, dude, you're in your 30s. You have children. You know how insane that is to be this immature at this age, and you're like, I'm going to show everybody I'm the best boxer in the world. I'll beat anybody up, and I'm tough, and everybody thinks I'm cool. When I went to jail, everybody called me Cool Aaron. No, they didn't. Like, you know what I mean? None of this is real. And it's
happen.
like, you're not going to survive at this unless you can get to a point in your life where whatever these people think, I don't give a shit. It's irrelevant to me. I don't need to prove that I'm cool. I don't need people to think I have the biggest dick in the world and that I'm a 200-0 boxer. I don't give a fuck. Watch the show or don't watch the show. I don't care.
Plus, he revealed the gym on his own. Like, this never had to even be known, right? He could have just said, hey, I'm taking some boxing lessons or whatever. Yeah, I do a little boxing. I'm trying to get fit, or, you know, doing that for my, you know, health or whatever.
He's sitting there cutting WWE style promos being like, me and Scott are challenging you, Ethan Ralph. It's like,
he's the worst heel of all time. He's got that. He's got the X-Pac heat. You know what I mean?
It's like,
go away.
He's the best heel in the business. He says it every day.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm the best heel in the business when I want to be. And so I sit there and I see this fucking clown, four-eyed freak, sitting there who pimped out his wife to, you know, another live streamer for clout. And I sit here and I see him, and I can't think of a bigger fucking nerd, loser, faggot than Aaron and Mold, period. And, you know, this was his plan. I don't know if everybody realizes that he put this in motion. He did this on purpose to, you know, try to broaden his own clout. And, you know, he lost his wife and he did all this and that. And then he snitched on them. Like, look, dude, I don't respect snitches. Fuck that. And so they call it dry snitching, basically. But he also allegedly contacted her family and all this stuff.
That's what I think he did. He dry snitched. I don't think he called the police directly.
No,
I think
he dry snitched.
He planted the seeds with everybody. Like, I don't know. I'm worried about your daughter. She's all holed up.
I'm so worried.
In that house. And it's like,
yeah.
You set the events into motion, my man. You know what you fucking did.
Yeah, it wasn't he direct snitched on me, but it wasn't a direct snitch with Ricada. It was a dry snitch on. And the fake crying he did on Stein's show and all this stuff, like, clearly, I mean, that's just, if you buy into that, you need to fucking have a lobotomy because, you know, obviously he hates. And believe me, I understand. You know, former partners or whatever, it can get to that level. But, man, you saw him break down on Stein's show, and it's like, this is completely fake, dude. Like, what in the fuck? I don't know. But if I was the prosecutor, I'd make him eat a dick is what I would do. But
I think they're planning on it now. I mean, you usually don't get another deal. Like, once we're compelling witnesses and we've called a jury trial, that's it. Deal's done.
Well, they already offered him the deal. He turned it down, and it's like, he may, if he's lucky, they may offer him one more deal, and it's going to be worse because that's how.
Oh, it ain't going to be the old deal.
No.
You made us waste more copy printer toner. So.
Yes. Well,
You made us have
like
to reprint this whole
in
thing.
every negotiation, by the way. It's not just with law. It's like, okay, the first deal, all right, that was the good one. And now it gets worse from there. And of course, if he turns down the second deal, it's OV. But, they may, I think that it's 50-50, right? I think there's a chance that he gets some type of deal, but on this deal, I think he's going to have to eat the felony, honestly. And so I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Well, cause why wouldn't they? Right. Like they have him. And so I could be wrong, but my legal experience is a lot deeper than most of LawTube.
What?
Frankly.
Name one time you've been in court.
I could name 500 times I've been in court. And so it's like, people, I saw some comments on some of the clips of mine, and they're like, wow, Ralph just gave better analysis than like over half of YouTube on the situation. It's like, well, yeah, because I've been in court so many times. I know how it works. The state can fuck you as hard as they want to fuck you. So you better just, what was it? Bobby Knight, famous basketball coach.
I remember Bobby
in Indiana, Hoosiers, I believe. And it's like, I shouldn't say this, by the way, but what does he say? Hey, if you're getting raped, just sit back and enjoy it, right? You know what I mean? Like at a certain point, it's like, all right, you're getting fucked. Okay, at least give me a kiss. That's what my dad used to say. Hey, are you gonna fuck me? At least give me a kiss.
Look, you can tense up the butthole. It's just gonna be rougher going in.
Yeah, man. Just sit back and relax. You're getting fucked, and so you might as well just sit back and relax. And he seems to, I don't know. He has a delusion. He was in. Still is, I guess, technically. He's not working for the station. That was the 187th ranked market in the U.S., Mersh. He acts like he was Cumia, Stern, Imus all rolled into one, and never anything of the sort. He paid for his own airtime. Like, this guy's a fucking clown.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Ironically, I actually worked at a bigger radio market than him when I lived in North Carolina.
I mean, it'd be hard not to. Yeah.
But I mean, North Carolina
is a bigger market. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, yeah, like I was in North Carolina, New Bern, Greenville, Jacksonville is that's like they something like the, I don't know, it's like the 80-something market. I remember looking it up one time and I'm like,
well, Memphis is 50, right? That's where I'm from originally. So like 187 is like literally, I was like Lubbock, Texas, and like all these other places are so much bigger.
But he was a big fish in a small pond. That's why he thinks who the fuck he is. The one benefit to being in a no-name market is that like everyone knows who you are. You know what I mean? Like anywhere you go, you know what I mean? Anytime you go eat at fucking Hardee's, people are going to be like, oh, you're that radio guy. Because there's not a lot going on in that area. You know what I mean? So people are like, oh, well, so you could be like a rock star.
I've never been to a more boring state in my life. And I haven't been to all 50, but it was pretty lame.
Did you go to Minneapolis?
Yeah. Minneapolis, I was in for a little bit. Minneapolis, I guess, is a little bit more popping or whatever, but like
I want to take my picture in front of Cup Foods. I always want to get my picture in front of Cup Foods.
St. Cloud, Minnesota, like come on. And then somebody, I know you saw this. Why didn't you go stream in Jim's driveway and this and that? Believe me, that was a thought. But that old allegedly cancer-ridden faggot, I'm not going to jail over some shit like that. Like, fuck that. I know it would have been hilarious to do, but it's like, no, like I said on Twitter, my whole goal is to right up to the edge, live my life and not go to jail and still have as much fun.
It's a good goal. Jail sucks. Jail sucks dick.
Yeah, dude. If you've been there,
it's not fun.
You
I dedicate a great deal of my energy to never going back to jail. Like that's why I'm so grateful I have a Revenge of the Sis and Nightwave. I'm grateful I don't have to sell drugs. I don't have to look over my shoulder. Like it's just a nice feeling to when I go out or get pulled over. It's like, all right, what is it? And it's over and done with quickly. You know what I mean? I'm just a law-abiding citizen. It's a good feeling.
It just sucks to be in jail. And, I guess I'll say not to promote jail or anything. I mean, it's a routine. You don't have to worry about like you're locked away. It's like being away. I compared it to being on another planet. Right. And you can still with communication. So I would talk to my wife at the time, Nora, my mother when she was still alive. But life goes on when you're in jail and they forget about you, brother. That's how it goes. Because you're there and they're living their life and it's not their fault. That's just how it works. And, there's a certain routine, like you can get used to it, but you don't want to get used to it. Right. Like that's how you become institutionalized. And so jail sucks. And if you can stay out of it, stay out of it. And Aaron seems determined. And this whole thing about, there's still an investigation on Mercado and Melton for email hacking. I'm like, okay, yeah. Okay.
Nothing's ever going to come of that.
Because that was a troll in the first place. But whatever. Even if it wasn't, they're not going to do anything. Like, I don't know, Mersh.
No, the feds are not going to. I've always said this about Aaron, and I've always used this analogy, but when this whole saga started a year ago, right? When the minute Nick Rekieta got arrested, right? I always compare Aaron to like the fucking Atlanta Falcons in that fucking Super Bowl. Like Aaron came out with all this goodwill. Nobody was mad at him. Everyone felt bad for the guy. And I mean, he blew a 28-3 lead. Like he did everything he could to blow this lead. And now he's probably one of the most despised guys on the internet.
I'll take a little credit, not for his, he deserves the majority, but he snaked me. He agreed to give me the first interview. And then he stabbed me in the back and went on the casino instead. But he still did the interview. Well, since I didn't have the first interview, I have a couple friends, Perspicacity, Godwinson, and I said, all right, we're going to run a train on this cocksucker since he stabbed me in the back. And so when he came on my show, it wasn't like it was on the casino. It was an inquisition, and it was an embarrassment for him. And then right after that, he went on Stein, had his, false breakdown, all this and that. But I didn't do that. Like I wouldn't have done that, but he wanted to fuck me over. It's like, all right, I got something for you. And I was like the nominal good cop. And then I had my other two guys here just fucking knocking the shit out of him the whole entire time. Well, that was by plan. I did that on purpose. And you stab me in the back and you still have the nerve to come on my show, or maybe the balls, if you want to give him the credit. You're gonna get the horns. And so and then it's just been downhill. Like he could have just stopped after the Stein interview, honestly, but he didn't. And
the world is better for it.
I agree.
At least the content world is better for it. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Honestly, May 13th is my birthday, and it's the first day. It's the first day of his jury trial, so I am excited.
Now, what do you think about Hackamania? They offered me a ticket to Hackamania, VIP, and all this. I put out on Twitter, I was, kind of joking, right? But like, maybe April could be my +1 to Hackamania, not to try to smash or anything, just to like be hilarious.
Wait, when are they doing Hackamania? Because if it's the same weekend as WrestleMania, I have a feeling that's funny because
No, it's May. It's in May.
Oh,
it's
It's
like 3 or 4 days before.
You said April. I got excited. I was like, ooh. I was like, because we're going to Vegas for.
I get excited when I say April too, but for a different reason. But
I miss her. No. Honestly, like my thought.
She's a good woman, by the way. I'm just having fun with the jokes. Well, she's been good to me. Like whatever you think about her, she's always been cool to me. So.
I mean, I'd fuck her. No, but I.
Well, me too, obviously. What the fuck?
No, I know. No, but as far as Hackamania goes, I mean, I don't know. Look, again with Melton, do I trust him? No, but have I heard anybody say that like he snaked them on pay or did anything like that? Not really. Like nothing like that. Like you know what I mean? Like if I didn't just simply find the guy sort of distasteful and I had an invite to go to it, I'd probably go. You know what I mean? Fuck it, but. I mean, I don't have anything to shit on about Hackamania itself. I mean, they have a decent little audience, bro, and they come out and they buy tickets, and you know what I mean. It's something.
Well, I was offered, but I feel like, and I have some friends already going, and I have a crew there and everything. But like, I'm a pro wrestling guy. I want to make an entrance with some pizzazz, right? If I show up, and so I'm leaning towards going really, but I just heard somebody in my chat and they said you were going at Melton. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on here. Like I'm not plugged in, right? So like I just didn't know, and so
that's you know who else is going to probably be there, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I'm just saying.
I do. And I
Which
saw the
completely
clip and he
falls
said,
in
"Oh,
line with my prediction.
I,
So I have a bet going with somebody in my audience. Or me and Ada Wolf
Wolf, I
have a
already
bet
know who it
going.
is.
Yeah, we have a bet
yeah.
going right now. And I was like, they're gonna make up by May. It's gonna happen, and you guys are gonna have to eat my words.
Well,
There's no way you guys are gonna be in the same
of
room and not
rehab,
chill with
and
each
they
other.
said that he was maybe I'll do a set on Ralph at Hackamania. Well, if that was to happen, I would demand the microphone to do my own set. It's different when you're in person. You've said this a million times, right? It's like when you're in person, like, I don't know, a lot of this, unless it's like, with Harry Moore, primal, just absolute.
Well, that's different. That's complete blood feud. That's different.
Just blood feud type shit.
I just don't see a world where you and Dick Masterson get in the same room and don't come out at least like cool with each other. Like, I'm not saying you guys are gonna be fucking. I don't think he's gonna name his baby after you or anything. But it would be actually awesome if he did. But no, but I just don't see you two going in a room and coming out like fuck that fucking guy. Like, I can see you guys just being like, all right, man, it's fucking whatever.
Well, dude, if I go, like, I'm not looking to start fights with anybody. I just want to have fun and talk to some people. I assume most people in the room will know who I am, right? Not to have a big head or whatever, but
they'll know you. Just make sure you do it just like jail, right? First day in, make sure you find Ray DeVito and you punch him right in his fucking face. So
Ray
all the
DeVito?
other inmates.
Can you explain this to me? Because I know of him, but I don't know like really anything else. I just know the name, and they're like Ray DeVito.
I'm kidding about punching Ray. I'm
from the sector, man. Like I don't know all this stuff, right? It's crossed over, but
I don't dislike Ray. He's just a weird little squirrely comedian from like Cleveland who like fucking. He's like 50 something, but he's like he lives with fans, and like he's got like a weird little serial killer vibe to him. He's adorable. Ray DeVito's just a weird guy. But there's nothing bad about him. I was just thinking of a random person that would be in Hackamania. I'm like, punch Ray DeVito right in his fucking face.
I think he might be there.
He will. He's got nothing else going on. He'll be there.
But I thought about it. Of course, I have my son visits to the U.S. Obviously, that takes precedence, and but I was invited, and it's like, I'm leaning towards going, and so, but I don't want to just. I want to go in like Flair, right? You know what I mean? Like I want to make an entrance. I want to.
You need an entourage, bro, and then you get.
I have one already going. I have some people already going. Like,
hear me out. They carry you on a horseless chariot.
But I have some people going and said, if shit breaks out, like, which I don't expect whatsoever, by the way. But like,
no,
it's like I got some people that would not back down from that sort of thing.
This shit never comes into these real I've had so many live events. Honestly, the live event that I got fucked with the most was goddamn Ralph-A-Mania. And to be honest with you, even that wasn't that bad. Like, and the people that did try to troll us in person, like, it was real weak shit. Like, the funniest one was not Ralph-A-Mania, it was the bowling one.
It was the Kingpin.
The Kingpin tournament. That's what it was. At the end of the night, there was this guy that was, and I don't know who he was a fan of. He could have been one of the Redditors, could have been a pot awful, whatever. But this dude who I'd seen throughout the night at the event, like, he didn't really hang out with anybody, but I'd seen him. He must have been knocking him back all night to work up the courage to come and try to troll me in person. And by the time he came to talk to me, he was fucking done. Like, he was falling over himself, and his phone was obviously sticking out of his shirt pocket, but he forgot to turn the flash off. And he just came up to me, and he was trying to start shit by just making shit up. Like, he was like, hey, why does like so-and-so not like Ralph? I don't even remember who it was. It was like some streamer we both know who doesn't dislike you. But it was one of those where he's trying to get like, hey, why does this guy always hate Ralph so much? And I was like, what? I'm like, I don't think that's true at all. And the guy said, I'm like, and I didn't want to bring it up yet. So he's like, no, but like, you notice that guy's always talking shit about Ralph. And I'm like, no, I've never heard it. And I was like, hey, are you recording me? And the guy's like, what? No, I'm not recording you. And I'm like, but your phone's poking out of your shirt pocket and your flash is on.
With the light on.
And the guy goes, oh shit, I don't know what that's about, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, and I'm sure you've seen Danny Saint before, right? The wrestler we're friends with.
Yes.
The big dude.
Yeah, of course.
Danny's like within earshot. And I go, hey, You believe this guy? He's fucking recording me. And Danny just literally made 3 steps towards us. And the guy was like, I'll delete it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll delete it. I was like,
well, you know this already. Somebody threw a forearm, the weakest forearm.
I remember
history.
that. Yes.
Me, and like, if you know how to throw a forearm, I'm not going to pretend to be like the king of fighting or whatever, obviously. But he threw it on his back foot. Like, you're supposed to put your weight into a forearm, right? So he hit me, and it was like getting hit with a pillow or something. And then he got dragged around the corner by security and stomped the fuck out. And then I went around the corner and kicked him in the head like fucking 5 times with my Timberland boots on. And then Chaggett was recording it.
I remember that. Everybody was like, Chaggett, stop.
Well, I went up to Chaggett and I said, if you post that, like, I was like, delete it right here in front of me. Like, and I made him delete it because at the time, I had some other legal issues going on, whatever. I don't care now. Statutes, limitation, whatever. But
Ralph's quoting David Letterman. Look, man, everybody knows I got my own fucking problems.
Yeah.
Remember when he famously said that when like Conan and fucking Jay Leno were fighting? And he goes, look, I didn't want to chime on this because Lord knows I got my own problems, because that was when he got caught cheating on his wife.
But yeah, I know, with one of his writers. Yeah. But, he got his ass whipped, and I got a few licks in, and they threw him out, and I just considered it even because he didn't even hurt me. Like, it literally, like, you can see it didn't affect me at all. And, he got his punishment, and nothing happened. But Chaggett was going to upload that footage. And at the time, I was on probation. I was like, if you upload that footage, motherfucker, there's going to be a real problem here. And I watched him delete it. Not only he had an iPhone, so if you delete something on an iPhone, it sends it to the deleted folder too. I watched him delete it from both. And so I was like, nah, man, we ain't going to put this out or we're going to have a real issue, me and you. And then, of course, it ended with the whole plan was to mace Chaggett. They were so excited about me macing Chaggett at the end of the show. Like, that was like the climax, really. Like, all the workers at the bowling alley and all the staff and some of their friends, they came up there because they knew I was going to mace him like live on air, and he agreed to it. Like, I wasn't, anything like that. And he had this shirt on. He's like, yeah, just get me. He's like, I want to be talking. I want to be saying this and that while you mace me. And I said, check it. You're going to have your mouth open. Like, you don't want mace in your mouth, right? And he didn't listen, obviously.
He doesn't listen.
Yeah, he took a tough one. That was another all-time banger from the kill stream. One of my quotes there, because it was like, oh my god, like, what is this? But I don't know. I'm planning on going to Hackmania unless something comes up.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that you don't. Like, again, my little issues with Melton aside, like, I have no reports or anything. Like, as far as I know, nobody's ever been like, you didn't pay me or you didn't do it. You know what I mean? Like, as far as I know, his events go by smoothly or whatever, but I just won't have anything to do with the guy.
Wait, I was just offered a free VIP ticket, right? And so I'm not in on the profit sharing. I didn't
fuck that. I'd be like, you pay me, motherfucker.
Well, I mean, you're right. You're a better negotiator than me in certain ways. Like,
sometimes, and occasionally I don't get paid for a show, and then I melt down on Twitter and create headaches for my business partner, and then I have to apologize to our Puerto Rican T-shirt salesman.
Like, I wasn't offered money or anything. I just thought it would be fun. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I will say this, and you might, don't get mad. I've been angling, and I know you and Jesse. I didn't know you had any contact with Jesse. Like, he told that on my show, and I'm like, wait, you guys actually had a DM back and forth? Like,
it was very quick. He DM'd me and was like, you want to come on my show with Varen? And I was like, no, no way would that ever happen. And then I blocked him.
But how good would it be? Of course, I tried to set up you and Aaron. I wish he would have done that, by the way. But
trust me too. I didn't know he was going to turn out to be so fucking evil.
Like, you, yeah, exactly. I mean, nobody could have known, but, and I know you're probably not inclined.
Oh, if you're already angling for Jesse, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen.
I know.
That guy is continuing to do shit to me, like having shit sent to my house. Like, it's not even like he in any way has ever ceased being a inconscionable fucking ball breaking cunt. So there's no there's just no.
But what an event it would be, not even in person, but just on air, right? Like it could be on your show. I'm not angling for the money, by the way. I just know it would feed generations if it actually ever did.
No, yeah, and I don't. Yeah, but they should, again, man. It's just there's a very short list of people where people go, "What about this?" And I go, "Not interested." Absolutely. Like again, Aaron, me and Aaron on a stream. I would love that. I would love to put the boots to that narrow-shouldered faggot. But like again, because even on that level. Like Aaron's not this like he is a liar and an asshole. He's almost in the same categories as these other guys, but like Aaron's not like clever or deceitful in a way. Like he's just a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Well, I'm always open to that. I don't think I could actually. At one point, Aaron said he would be down to come on versus you on my show, and then like it didn't happen. I know you would have stomped him too. That's the thing. But now I know you'd really just put the boots to him. There's no way he would do it now at this point. So, because
and by the way, there's some people in the chat that are like, "Oh, you're a fucking pussy." It has nothing to do with being a pussy. If I needed the money, I would have fucking Jesse on my show, and I would keep all of the money.
Yeah, well, that's what I even said. It doesn't have to be on my show, but you don't need.
I just think some people, when you get a little older, you're going to come to find in life. There's just some people you just go, nope. It's just there is no scenario where my life is made better by that person having more of a presence in it. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, no thanks.
I respect the position, but you know me, I unblocked every single person on Twitter. I've been trying to go on every show possible.
I know you're Jerry Springer. You're trying to get KKK members and Black Israelites all in the same room.
I'm back on that old 2018, 2019 Ralph where I just don't give a fuck. And if you invite me on, and of course, me and you are friends. We know each other for a while. But like, I'm just down to go wherever. I don't care if it's hostile. It's hostile. I can get as hostile as it needs. Like you and I, not going to get hostile, of course, but like, I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? Like not with you, but like with anybody else. Okay. All right. You want to go? Let's go. And so I'm kind of trying to turn the clock back a little bit, but also we've had this discussion in private, and, I respect anybody who says, hey, I just don't want to get involved with that. And so, it is what it is, but Hackamania, I'm leaning towards going, but
I don't see why not. It'd probably be a good time. I mean, you'll meet some people there that are all right guys. I mean, I don't know who's planning on being there, but other than, Jake and
I know
Carl.
a couple.
But
I know Carl's going to be there. I know Dick's going to be there.
I think you, Dick, and Carl need to get on a fucking panel and do a fucking show.
Well, you know what's funny is
I think it'd be the funniest shit ever.
I was making fun of Carl, and people were sending me shit. They already know. Carl kind of disrespected me in Tampa. It's funny because you mentioned you were like trying to mend fences actually between me and Dick, and I didn't say this in the chat the other day, but you're like, hey, I got paid this, and that from that show. I got paid nothing from that show. I didn't ask for anything either. But and again, I'm not bragging, but I had by far more heat than anybody on the stage, besides maybe Dick himself. And that's not an insult to you either. But it was a co event between ROTC and Dick's show, right? So I already know why you had a profit sharing agreement. But
well, yeah, because we had a lot of we have a little bit of local juice around here, so we were able to like pull
and it was in Florida, and I understand, but like you saw it when I went out on stage. It was like seeing there were boos, there were people wanting to throw shit, but there were also cheers. Like people I was with had drinks thrown on them, and like it was like the old school territory type vibe, and like I loved it. Like it was like it's injected into my fucking veins. Like I didn't need any money. Like I was like, oh my god, this is what I want. But I heard that and I was like, I didn't get paid anything for that. And I was kind of like the hottest shit on the stage, honestly. And then Carl was sitting there next to me, and I don't know, every prick from New York thinks, not talking about you, of course, but like it's like, oh
no, me included.
I'm from New York. Right.
We're obnoxious.
Like, I should be on air. I should be, this and that. And they think because you're from the South, like, you're some dumbass or a country bumpkin or whatever. That's not me. But I was ragging on Carl a little bit before the Melton crossover. And you could tell when I went in, like there was a little bit of tension, like, oh, what's Ralph going to do? And we all just had a fucking slam dunk session on M-Hole, and we all agreed pretty much on everything that was said. And So I don't know. I thought it went well. I would have looked like an idiot, or not an idiot, but like nut, right? If I would just start attacking him out of nowhere, and it's really not a personal thing anyway. I just kind of ragging on him. So
no, I mean I get it. I will tell you this though,
before too.
If you ever want to compare, like having done a live event now with, because we co-headlined the Road Rage, but then we co-headlined the last Who Are These Podcasts show.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Dealing with Dick and dealing with Carl is like fucking night and day when it comes to running a show. Dick, literally, I was having fucking panic attacks at Road Rage because we kept like, we were all backstage and we're like, so what's the plan? What's the format? What are we doing? We're doing this, we doing that. We had Ryan Long and Danny were there. Remember, they were doing stand up. Yeah, he's like, yeah, they're gonna do stand up, and then we're just gonna go up there, man. And I'm like,
we're all on the
go up
room.
there and do what?
Yeah.
And like, Dick was driving me nuts. I'm like, go up and do what? I want to prepare. I want to start thinking of jokes. And he's like, nah, don't worry about it. It'll be great. And it was a great show. It was a success. But Dick's so laid back. You go to Carl's fucking show and you go backstage and he's like, all right, so we got the pre-show, and then this guy's going to go out and he's going to do a song to open. And then we have segment 1. It's this, and this, featuring this guy and this guy. Segment 2, we're going to take this guy down. We're bringing up Dr. Stephen Tukey, and we're going to have segment 2, which is this, and this. And it's so broken down and regimented that you're like, oh, okay.
Well, you know what's funny? I know I had the falling out with Masterson and all that, but like we're kind of similar in terms of the planning aspect. Like when you show up to Kingpin, it's like, hey, what's going on? Well, I don't know. I'm still trying to get the tech together. I'm taping mics together to make sure it goes out in the venue and on online. And like it was a little bit like see the pants type thing. Now that was the first live event I had done, so I'll give myself a little bit of leeway, but yeah, it was a little bit like that with me, where I was like, hey, we're just here, let's go. And that's how it was in Tampa. But I don't know, man. I'm excited. I'm more excited to see my son next month. But
that's awesome, and I'm glad. I'm glad you mentioned that. Like, at least you and the ex are like being fucking civil, which is that's a good start. You ain't got to be besties. But it's civil.
I don't think that'll happen. Yeah. But civil is a fair way to describe it, and I'm not gonna people who know like there's all kinds of shit going on, not with me around that, but with other things around that, and I've decided to just not get into that, right? But Morris, this fucking idiot, he texts me on Twitter and it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna dunk on you, fuck you.
Drinking dark rye like a faggot.
Like, what the fuck?
Get regular Basil Hayden.
This guy is literally 400 pounds, and I've been on and off smoker for 20 years, and like 5 to 8 of those years I didn't smoke at all. And it's like, man, I don't know if you're long for this world and you have the CPAP affliction, and he doesn't use the CPAP either. And it's like, okay, well, I've known people you can die from this, Mersh. That's what I'm saying. And so,
oh yeah, you can stop breathing in the fucking middle of the night.
What a tragedy that would be, by the way. I really want him to hang around for as long as possible. But yeah, He thought that, I guess he would think that would get to me. Like, I thought that was hilarious. Like, he just hyped the show. He got like probably 100 more viewers.
And I don't get what he's trying to. Is he trying to be like drinking because you're not drinking? Like, is it supposed to be like triggering you to go
he was
drink?
Trying to troll me because obviously I just got out of rehab. I'm not drinking, but like he was like, oh yeah, I'm drinking Basil Hayden. Okay, well drink a whole bottle and then break it over your fucking head. Like, I don't give a fuck about you, cocksucker. I mean, I do, but Nick Rekieta told me it's okay to piss on your grave, is what I was told, and so I'm joking, by the way. But I couldn't give a fuck less. If I woke up tomorrow and they said that cocksucker bit the dust, I would have an all-time celebration. That would be the biggest risk to my sobriety. Actually, if I woke up tomorrow and they said Harry Morris died while he was watching your appearance on Mersh's show,
we're definitely gonna get a fucking Ralph tweet tomorrow of a glass of bourbon with a cigar. And you're gonna go, oh no.
I might be right back on my bullshit. I ain't gonna lie, because that would be like a gift from the heavens. And also like why is he even paying attention to this? You know what I mean? Like I don't get it, Mersh.
You really do bring out the worst in your fathers-in-law.
I've noticed that.
You really bring out a side
you know
of
what? He should maybe look at another example, and I won't mention any names, but it usually turns out not working out for the person, the father-in-law, who obsesses over me 24/7.
I've seen that.
So
I've seen that remarkable downfall.
And
I'm allowed to say it.
Yeah, you're allowed to say whatever
I'm allowed
you want
to say what
anybody.
a remarkable downfall.
I can talk about Harry Morris. There's certain things I can't talk about, but I can say whatever I want about him. But it's also like, hey, you know, at a certain point, man, I have to be careful with my words, but like there are more important things involved than internet pissing contests. And can we like just figure this out and like just end this? But some people think they can break me, Mersh. I can't even break me. So, you know, I don't know. I don't expect him to stop, and in a certain way, I hope he doesn't, because I've seen the results when they don't stop. Mm-hmm. So,
and besides, to quote the great Lewis Black from his Comedy Central special back in the day, if I'm gonna hurt this bad, I'm gonna do it to myself.
I don't know, man. I didn't expect that because I unblocked everybody. I hadn't blocked, of course, because you know he's a weirdo, fucking fat faggot who eats 5,000 calories at a time and falls asleep during the middle of his Buffalo Bills games, and then wakes up in a rage because they're losing and they blew it as usual. And you know, it's like, dude, okay, didn't you get what you wanted? Like what? Like what? You're not gonna get rid of me. Like I'm not going away. I'm better than you. Like, there's a reason that I've been around for 10 years and you're some fat fuck who lives in Rochester. And I don't know. He thinks he's like the king troll. I could get into it forever. I'm going to stop there, but it's just like, dude, just cut it out, honestly.
It's not worth it, man. That's why I love that's why I don't know why you unblocked everybody. I love blocking people. I'm past the point in my life now where I'm like, I'm not fucking dealing with this.
I said that for years, and I literally had thousands of people blocked. And then I did this, and I acted like it was like, oh, you know, Dick Masterson, Juju, whatever. I'm going to unblock everybody. I'm not going to be like him. I didn't really do that because of him. I did that just because, you know what, fuck it. X, Twitter, whatever the fuck you want to call it, babymama.com. It's more fun to me. I don't care. There's nothing, you can't muddy up the dirtiest ape in the zoo, Mersh. And so like, what are they going to say about me? Like, what are they going to, like, I don't know, fuck them. And so, you know, have at it. It's just going to make me more money. It's going to get me more engagement. So just have at it. Now I do understand blocking people too, because that was my philosophy for like, you know, 8 years. So I don't begrudge that either, but it's like, hey.
And I don't block people unless they're like really just coming from a shitty, dishonest place. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing if you just like, look, people can shit on me all they want. I ain't going to get you blocked. But it's when I can tell that they're doing some gay shit, and I'm like, I'm not dealing with this person. I'm just not.
No, I completely understand. And I see a couple of weirdos in your chat. By the way, most 90% or plus are completely cool, but I see this, my name is Dark. He's like, still seething about Harry? No, this dude's still seething about me. What do you think? I have an open mic right here. Do you think I'm not going to respond to the provocation? That's not me, dude. Like, you know, they're like, oh, Ralph said he was going to move on from all old beefs. Well, yeah, that's unless they decide to open it back up, right? You know, okay, well, change of plans. So I'm restricted from speaking about certain things, but Harry Morris, the CPAP non-user, I'm not restricted from.
The CPAP non-user.
Yeah, he should stick it up his ass is what he should do. Maybe that'd help him more. I'm not sure, but
CPAP non-user with shitty tile work.
That was his actual crib too. That's the funniest fucking part.
Oh, and the dirty baseboards. Clean your baseboards.
Oh man, dude, did some dusting before you take that pic, or put a filter on it or something. I don't know, man. They accuse me of using filters. I don't, but like, I don't know. He should have used one on that. But
dude, like the internet has gotten me to the point where I'm so fucking like, you know, flinchy and trigger shy that like, yeah, even when I like if I'm gonna take a picture, I'm like, let me wipe the baseboards. Like, because you just know the internet will pick apart zoom in on every little thing.
So I'm back at 178 now. I was like 175 when I took this pic, and it was in front of a mirror. And of course, nobody knows where I am, right? And that's for a reason, and for a good reason. And so I took a picture, but the mirror was like a little dirty, and they're like, "Oh, why didn't he wipe down the mirror?" And I was like, "Okay, fuck you."
There's always somebody, always a critic.
They're right, though. I should have wiped down the mirror, but I didn't even think about it, right? Like, it wasn't, like, disgustingly nasty, but there were, like, a couple marks on it or whatever. Dust mark is like, oh, you should have wiped down the mirror. Okay, eat a dick.
That was the classic, like, fucking Red Bar, like, made that an everyday occurrence. Like, he was the king of the zoomer. Like, he would just find a picture and zoom in and just find one thing.
Yeah, they were doing that, and they're like, look at this mirror. And I'm like, okay, well, look at me. I'm down 110. Well, it was 100 pounds then. Now it's 110. So, well, no, actually, it's about the same. Like I said, 178, 175. But it's like, okay, well, the point was me being you can see my face and see how much weight I've lost. Now there's some loose skin, I ain't gonna lie, it's not totally clean or whatever, but that's what happens when you're a fat ass for fucking 25 years and you lose 100 pounds 3 times, that's how it goes. Good thing I'm in Mexico where that type of shit is cheap to get taken care of, and eventually I will, but I don't know, man. It's been a great conversation. I think we pretty much put everything on the table.
Oh yeah, man. I'm actually, shit, it's midnight, man. This flew by, dude. I thought really I honestly just planned on having Ralph on, 15 minutes, whatever.
Me too.
And then we were just shooting the shit, man.
Well, me and you get along really well, and there's some people I have chemistry with, and I've talked about others, and some you don't like, some you do, but I can just kind of, I don't know, maybe it's me too.
But have I ever once, in all the time you've known me, have I ever once been like, you fucking stream a pot awful, or you fucking stream a Melton? Like, I don't give, you know what I mean?
There was one mega show where I was trying to get you on. It wasn't going to be at the same time. But you're just like, well, if he's involved, I'm not coming on. I was like, I respect that.
Not doing it.
And you just said that, and I said, I respect that. That's fine. And never said like the stuff with me and Masterson. You never said, hey, fuck Ralph, anything like that. And that's how I am too. If a couple of friends of mine have beef, that's their issue. And
my exact quote about you and the dick situation was, both of these guys have some valid points, and they're both being massive faggots right now. That was my summary. And I'm like, and I'm not getting involved because I like both dudes. And both dudes you guys are going to make up. That's my prediction. Maybe not before me and my Ada Wolf bet, but it's going to happen.
I thought about it a lot in rehab, probably more than I should have. And it's like, some of the stuff I did the stream with Jesse, and then I did my own stream where I went a little bit harder, I guess. And it was like, I still feel like a lot of the points I made were valid, but then it was like some of them were just, petty. Like, oh, okay, like, all right, you kept this in your mind for like 3 years, now you're bringing it up or whatever. But the fact is, we both helped each other over the years. I wish I hadn't have brought up 80s girl. I felt like, again, not to be Moral Mountain, man. Just, she was involved with the whole thing and the fallout, but also she's pregnant, and we were friends for years, and I shouldn't have done that. And Jesse the other night, he's like, don't say that. You sound like a politician. Well, I mean, I have a political science degree. It is what it is.
Or maybe you just sound like, I don't know, a non-sociopath, but that's foreign to him. He's like, I
just left her out, and it's not that she's off the field, but it's like, okay, you don't have to do that, in my opinion, right? Like, I could have just let that go.
Look, all I'm saying is, dude, me and Royce have had a fight, like because now me and Royce see each other almost, at least fucking 4 times a week, and we do a show every day. So it's like we have like offline avenues to argue. And Royce and I have said some fucking unspeakably nasty shit to each other that we couldn't take back. You know what I mean? Like, and it like eventually it fucking cool out, and fucking cooler heads.
I said this. It was him shooting on me. I hate getting back into it, but it was
no. You don't have to. We were gonna wrap it up anyway. I'm just saying you guys are gonna get along.
Thing, and it's like it just stuck in my mind. And it's like, okay, all right, I'm the Ralph Mal, quote unquote, and it's like, all right. But also, you don't always have to napalm, right? Like, I could have threw a few bars back and let it go, and it would have been a little bit different. Instead, it's like, okay, all right, Cambodia, Laos, all time. Right? It's like
You just went Kissinger on him.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, when I was in rehab, I thought, whether it would have, worked out or not, I was like, okay, maybe, I could have chilled out a little bit, but whatever.
You guys are going to be friends again. Mark my words. Ralph, anything you want to plug? Obviously the kill stream on Rumble, the Ralph Retort on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter. I didn't
expect to do 2 or 3 hours here tonight, but I will be on the air tomorrow. And it looks like Gino's going to be on Wednesday. Wayne Lambright is running for governor of California now, and he's going to be on Tuesday. I'm working on the rest of the week. Monday kind of fills itself because there's so much stuff that happens over the weekend.
Oh yeah, it's always the easiest show. ROTC is the same thing. We always have too much prep.
Yeah, so I'll have so much stuff tomorrow that I don't even necessarily need a guest for tomorrow. I do want to say thank you to all the chat. I think it's obvious that I'm kind of back on my game. I don't know if you want to say in my prime, but not too far behind. And so I want to keep it that way. And I appreciate you having me. And maybe there's a chance you could come to Las Vegas too. That would be something if we were all there at Hackamania. I don't know. Something to think about. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it.
I go to Vegas too much already. This is getting out of control.
Well, me too. That's another reason where if it was next month, I wouldn't go because I'm fresh out of rehab, and it's like
I went to Vegas last month. I'm going to Vegas in April, which was a fucking nightmare.
Oh, so I didn't know that. Well, I told him, I was like, well, Vegas is temptation, but Tijuana, you think Vegas is temptation? Go to Tijuana, motherfucker.
I would love TJ. TJ would be up my alley.
TJ is like, okay. Like, you think Vegas is something? Go down to Tijuana. But, it's in May. It's enough, many weeks away that I feel like I could handle it. And I'm only going to be there a couple of days. And I could possibly work it in with a visit with my son flying back and forth. So, but regardless, man, I had a great time. Me and you are simpatico.
Of course,
I feel and we always get along. And I did say there was one time we didn't get along. You've told this story before too, and it was the Dan Snyder thing.
Oh, yeah, no, because the fucking chat tricked me into going after you, and then this fuckers.
Yeah, but because they're like, Ralph stealing your credit, and I actually wasn't. I just didn't know anything about the Dan Snyder stuff.
That was how we became pals, because we really didn't talk much before that. And then I was like, oh, you know what? I apologize. I think people were having some fun with me.
You apologized to me. And I was like, and we pulled up some of you guys' clips, and some people were like, oh, Ralph, oh, man, I never heard about this, and you broke the credit, and they were hyping you up, too. And it was like, man, I wasn't trying to steal anybody's credit. I just didn't know.
I just went 0 to 100 immediately. I'm like, fuck this nigga, because everyone started stealing our shit, and I was like, this is the last straw. And then you were like, I didn't though. I go scroll back, and then I saw you giving us credit. I'm like, oh yeah, my bad, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I was like, I just didn't know anything about it, and I was completely shocked. And I know you've probably covered it since. His interviews last year didn't do him any favors either. But
no, not great.
But that Mersh, Royce deserve 100% of the credit. I just stumbled onto the story, and so people were like, oh, he's trying to steal your credit. I'm like, no, actually I credited them, but that's how we became friends, and we're still friends, and maybe Hackamania, maybe not. But I appreciate you having me on tonight, and I wish you all the best, as I always have. And I say this a lot. I broadcast so much that a lot of times, I throw my viewers in. If I ever remember, sometimes I forget to do the raid. But I almost always turn your show on after mine because I don't have a lot of time to watch other people's shows besides clips and stuff when I'm getting ready. And you come on right after my show. And so it takes me an hour or two usually to cool down and go to sleep after a show, right? Just because you're hype, you've been performing all day.
Oh yeah, that's why I don't even go to bed till 6 in the morning.
Yeah, you can't, man. People, I don't know if the audience understands. You've been out here in front of the lights and everything for all all day or whatever, how many hours, and it's hard to just say, oh, I'm just gonna go to sleep. That's not how it works. And so a lot of times I'll watch your show for at least 30 minutes to an hour, or sometimes more after. So I love Nightwave.
Thank you, man. Nightwave Radio, it'll put you to sleep, folks. That's a rousing endorsement from the Ralph Romel. Better than one milk, baby.
That's not what I meant, but shout out to Mersh, and I'm glad he worked it in like that.
Thanks for coming on, man.
It's my pleasure. You have a good one, brother.
Take care, man. Ethan motherfucking Ralph, ladies and gentlemen. That went on all night, huh? I like Ralph, man.
Thank you for watching this clip by Colonel J. This is the King of Bull here. Remember to like and subscribe. Juice!